CouchTatoes.
Hello again, dear viewers. Do you believe in the paranormal? Have you ever had anything that you can't explain happen to you or loved ones? Dive into this episode of CouchTatoes as we talk about our own paranormal encounters. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to today's episode of CouchTatoes. We figured we would save ourselves all the research this week. It was actually her idea. She suggested, she was like, hey, what if we talked about the paranormal encounters that we actually went through in our lives? And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing research. So I think, is anything you'd like to say?
What we're saying is we got lazy and decided to just talk about some personal spookies, you know?
We decided to set the lighting up for this episode to be extra.
It's a little spooky.
A little spooky, for sure.
Are you scared?
Before we go any further, I had an idea to spin this off into its own series. What I would like to know from you, our subscribers, if you've experienced anything paranormal that you would like me to cover. Tell me your story, and in turn, I'll let everybody else know what you've been through. Sound off in the comments below, and I figure I'll turn it into its own series. Call it subscriber horror stories or something like that. I like that. Just be interactive. We're big fans of the paranormal. We love spooky stuff. We're jazzed about Halloween.
Yeah, we're those people.
Just let us. There's a cat. If you've seen our short, then you would know. This one is Lana. She loves people.
Is that a spooky story?
Let us know. Sound off in the comments below. Have you had anything paranormal that you can't explain happen to you? It doesn't have to be ghosts. It could be skinwalkers, anything.
Just anything creepy that you can't explain.
I would love to go ghost hunting when I have the throwaway cash to buy ghost hunting equipment. She's gonna go with me. Without further ado, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with my what was in my attic story.
That one
If
creeps
you
me
want to
out.
hear that. Okay, so when I was a freshman in high school, I lived in this house that had a passageway to an attic that was up in the closet of my room. And I have never been in an attic before, and I always wanted to, because I would see movies and shows and stuff, and it was oh, the attic, it was weird and creepy. So I'm I want to go in the attic. And we used to hear footsteps, and I was that's creepy. And it's nowadays I feel if that happened to me, it would be so creepy, it would scare me a lot. But I feel back then I was kind of just let's check it out, a friggin'.
Does that make it scarier?
Is it? I don't know. Do I look scary?
No, you're beautiful.
I was I don't know, white people in a horror movie, let's check it out, let's go towards the creepy stuff. But yeah, so we decided to go check it out. It was me, my sister, and some of her friends, and we went up in the attic, and the whole the whole floor was covered in kind of a weird substrate that was almost if you've seen hamster bedding or small animal bedding, the fluffy paper bedding that they use. It was covered in that, and then underneath the layer of that stuff was the outline of a body, almost laying
Nope.
like a starfish, and then you could see where the chest was. It was breathing, and that slow deep breathing that you do while you sleep. It was that kind of breathing.
Plot twist, it was Patrick Star.
Imagine. No, but and the thing that was weird is that there was no way to get in the attic from outside, and people were oh, it's probably just an animal. And it's but you can tell the difference between an animal and then a human.
It was a human
stepping,
silhouette and stuff.
but it looked it was the size of a person,
Nope.
And then there was no way for anything to get in from outside, because the only entrance, the only passageway, I guess, was a little screen vent thing that was the size of an index card. and it wasn't broken or anything. Not that a person could get through that, but
What
it wasn't
drives-
broken.
What drives me crazy about this story is that you were just like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And this was like in your room, right?
Yeah, so we went to go check it out, and we saw the thing like breathing, and my sister's like, poke it. And like me being like 14 or 15 at the time, like, that's a great idea. So I grab a hanger from the closet. I like lean down, grab a hanger out of the closet, and then I poke it, and it's like, you know, when you get like woken up and you're like, huh? You know, it was like that. Like I kind of started like, huh? And then we're like, ah! We all ran out of there. And then the thing that was weird, like, you know those stories when you hear like, this guy like lived in this person's closet for like months, and like they wondered why all their bread was missing, or, you know, like stories like that. It's like, we never had anything go missing. We never like saw anybody go up or down. So it's like, what was that? Like, what was that?
Just your friendly neighborhood spooky guy.
Yeah, and the thing was too, it was like the attic ceiling was short, so I'm like, there's no way, like, we were kids and we couldn't like stand up fully.
That gives me
so
the,
I'm like, how is it like
ick,
stepping,
dude.
you know? Like, how is it like walking? Like, what is this? Like,
So
is
wait,
it,
you
like,
saw it walk?
No, like, we
Because I
heard
thought you
footsteps.
said okay,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like,
you.
it sounded like someone walking. It didn't sound like
That's
crawling or like an animal. I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't know.
So what do we do?
Just
We're
a-
just gonna like,
just
are
a
we gonna
little guy
trade
there.
our stories back and forth?
Give us a spooky.
Okay, let's see. Where should I start? Should I start with like the creepiest one that I personally experienced first, or?
Go for it.
I've told you this one. This is, I would say, this is the most profound horror experience that I ever had. And 3 out of 4 of my stories today, I think it's 4 stories, come from the same house. It was a peculiar house. So it was in a gated, like, suburban community in Vegas. It was called Aliante. And I forgot which street I was on, but screw it. For the sake of the story, I am like 10 or 11, maybe 12. I'm maybe 11 on the verge of 12. Anyways, it's around, I want to say 1, it's a little bit after midnight. And I wake up, I am thirsty. So my bedroom leads into the hallway. And when you walk out the hallway, it leads into the living room. And adjacent to the hallway is our TV. Like, once you cross over that threshold, the TV's right there. And then when you exit out the hallway, you can see the couch. So I get out of the hallway, and as soon as I step over the threshold of the hallway, I hear the TV turn on. Keep in mind that there's nobody on the couch, and I just hear the TV go on. And I turn after stepping over the threshold of the hallway. I turn to look at the TV, and it's in that static. You know when you turn on a TV and it's just like scribbly static. But what I make out, and I'm halfway awake. I don't know what to make of this. I'm just kind of like, whatever, dude. And I would realize later the whole thing was eerie. But I'm looking at the TV, and there's a silhouette in the static. And like, you could kind of make out that it's like a face, and like, you could kind of make out a mouth. And I can tell that they're mouthing something, like they're talking to me. And I look at the couch, there's nobody on the couch. The remotes are untouched, and I look back at the static. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get something to drink. I go to the kitchen. Meanwhile, I'm drinking water, and I'm still looking at the TV, which is static, and it's the silhouette, and it looks like it's just talking. I finish my water, and as soon as I cross over the threshold to the hallway, I hear the sound of the TV just turn off. And I woke up the next morning, and I was just like, did that really happen?
That's creepy.
Yeah. So I've been working on a horror anthology. Basically a short story collection of horror stories, people that I know, things that I've personally experienced. I'm basing my stories off of that. I'm in the stage of the written draft right now. And hopefully I could sell it as an ebook or something. So your turn.
Another spooky?
Yeah.
This one, it's spooky, but kind of cute, I guess. So when I was a kid, I used to be able to like see at least what I believe are ghosts. Like I remember being a kid and walking around and like seeing ghosts on like the playground. Like I would see we had like little playgrounds in my neighborhood, and I would like look, and it looked like there was a kid or somebody there, and then I'd look again, and they'd be gone.
You saw them from like a window, right?
Well, this happened like a few times. Like I would see them, but like the most like memorable one was the one in the window. It was like a little boy, and this was like the only time I ever like talked to one. The rest of the time it was just like things that I would see. But this one, I used to like talk to this one. Like I'd go to the playgrounds, and there were like some houses that were like facing it. So from the playground you could like look up and like see like people's windows, and I saw like a little boy, and I remember his name was Sam. Yeah, he had a name, but like, but I remember like I was a little kid, so I didn't really like get it, and I was just like, oh, like come down and play. And then he was like, I can't. And then I was thinking like, oh, maybe he has like really strict parents or something, like he's not allowed to come like outside his house. Like it was literally like right there. But like looking back, just like it was kind of weird. Like he didn't, I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, but he didn't look like a regular person. Like I'm guessing he died in like the 70s or 80s, because his clothes looked like kind of like from that time, like late, like a kid's outfit in like late 70s, early 80s, and he had like a haircut like from then and stuff. Like it was super weird, and he was just always in the window. Like I never like, you know, he was never like anywhere else. I never saw him outside. He didn't go to our school. Like I never saw him at school. Like, so I'm like, I wonder if that was like a little ghost boy. But you know, like he didn't look like a person. Like he was a little more like, I don't know, like faded looking, if that makes sense. Like not like completely like solid, like a human. I don't know.
I remember reading a theory about how somebody said that like time is happening all at once, and so sometimes we just get like some sort of overlap or something like that, where something that's happening at some other period kind of crosses with what we're doing, and so we're kind of just getting like a piece of it. And that's basically what I don't know. I don't like to entertain that because it takes away the spookiness of it all.
I feel like it's still spooky. It's like, I know that people try to act like, oh, like, well, scientifically, it's like, don't care. It's still spooky. I don't care about the theory behind it. It's like, it's still spooky. I don't care how you explain it. It's still spooky. I don't care if it's, oh, it's technically, like, actually, you know. It's like, I don't care. Like, don't care.
Don't care. Didn't ask. I actually lied earlier. I think I have about 5. So one time I was about 3 or 4. Everybody on my father's side of my family lived in the same house. I don't know who's seen the movie Small Soldiers. My cousin had this Major Chip Hazard action figure, and he said all the things that the character says in the movie. I'm about 3 or 4. I'm about to go to sleep with my dad, and he's carrying me over the threshold in the hallway into our room, and he trips over this action figure, and it says something like scum or something like that, because Major Chip Hazard, like human scum, something like that. You've seen Small Soldiers. Yeah. Anyways, my dad's like, what the hell? And then he like flips it over, and there's like no batteries in this thing.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
I had an imaginary friend as a kid, which is, I feel like, pretty common for kids, but the thing was, this wasn't like imaginary, and I remember drawing it as a kid, and it was never like malicious or anything. It's not like those stories where it's like the little kid's like, oh, like Jenny says she doesn't like you, Mom. And
I'm thinking of like, what was it?
No.
Scary Movie. Was it Scary Movie? I think it was Scary Movie 3 actually. No, it might have been. No, it was Scary Movie 3. Sorry, we have a daughter.
But you know what I mean? Like it was never like malicious or anything like weird. It was literally just like we would hang out, and we would just like hang out in my room. But I remember like drawing it, and her name was Kitty. and she had a big head like a cat, and then like big ears, like they go like that.
You sure you weren't watching too much Courage the Cowardly Dog?
That kind of reminds me of it, that Chihuahua thing.
No, I'm talking about the cat guy.
Oh,
Like
the cat
Courage's
guy,
nemesis.
yeah.
His name was like Cats or something.
No, I remember that.
And jazz music or like weird like
Yeah.
industrial music always played when he walked. It was weird.
Yeah, but then like she had like a big head and like whiskers and stuff, and then like a cat, but then like she had like really big ears, and then like a long skinny body and like a big swirly tail. I remember like drawing her, but it's like I was like, oh, my imaginary friend, but it's like, no, I was talking to something. Like,
I think you were being visited by like an alien.
and then it just like stopped eventually. Like I got older and it just like stopped.
Okay, so we're just gonna speed run through these last couple stories. I have 2 more to tell that aren't really that substantive. However, both of these happened in the same house at Aliante. One, whenever it was turning from daylight to nighttime, when the sun was going down in my room, I would see shadow silhouettes of actual people
Ew.
just going along the walls. I would later find out that this complex, this house, like this whole neighborhood was built on like an Indian burial ground. And if anybody knows anything, that's usually a good plot for a horror film. In this same house, I collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was a kid. I had a huge freaking bin of them. I had it pressed up against the wall. It turned over one day and just spilled all over my floor. I have nothing to explain what caused that. And then my last story, I was on a road trip with my family. And I forget which state that we were going to. But along the road trip, we're in kind of like a middle of nowhere, desert-oriented place. But there's a souvenir shop. My family gets out of the car. Turns out that this souvenir shop is closed. Some windows are boarded up. I look through a partially boarded up window. And I look into the shop. And it's like, you could see through like sunlight peering through windows, stuff like that. So it kind of created a bit of light, but still like very dim. And I shit you not, I look at a mannequin and it swivels its head in my direction. Yep. I don't know what you chalk that up to. I don't know if you chalk that up to being a kid with a vivid imagination, but that happened.
To being spooky.
Yeah. I'm just in awe of the wonders of our world, the mystery surrounding it. There's a lot of enigmas on this sphere that we call planet Earth. Anything else that you'd like to say?
I think that's it for right now.
Cool. Like I said, I would like to spin this off into its own separate series. Subscriber horror stories, or as she said, subscriber spookies. That's cute. If you have anything that's paranormal, anything that happened to you, whatever weird thing it is that you can't explain, sound off in the comments below. Let us know, and I will read that comment in a future subscriber spooky or whatever. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. We really appreciate it. Anything else?
I actually just remembered something kind of spooky.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just
Epilogue.
add it real quick. But this isn't like that spooky, but it's a little spooky. I remember this was when I was like 14. It was on Halloween, and I remember me and my aunt, we were gonna play with a Ouija board.
Nope.
Yeah, we did. And
This
so
bonehead brought home a wooden Ouija board that our coworker made her. We have it in our Halloween bin.
But yeah, so we decided to play it, and we both had our hands like on the thing, and then we asked because we didn't want to ask is anyone gonna die or anything like crazy. So we were like, will anything extraordinary happen in the year 2010 or like whatever year? I think it was gonna be like 2010. But then we did it, and then neither of us were moving it, and it just started moving, and then it was and then we're both like, oh my god, we're not moving it. And
Talking to the candle.
Talking to the candle. But I think it said no. And then we were just like, okay, goodbye. Like, that was it. So it's like, that was my Ouija board experience. It was kind of uneventful, but it's kind of funny.
Final note, folks, don't play with the Ouija boards. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Say goodbye if you do play with Ouija boards. You always say goodbye.
Goodbye.
She's leaning over the rail of a bridge. She lights up another cigarette. Smoke at the end gets lost in the fog. The truancy life of a stray dog. She hasn't been the same since that boy left that day. She's a stray. She's a stray dog. She hasn't been the same since that boy moved away. She's in pain. Call it heartache. Love can make you do pretty crazy things, especially when love's unrequited. She's taken to habitual burnings. Pyro tendencies make her less lifeless. She hasn't been the same since that boy left that day. She's a stray. She's a stray dog. She hasn't been the same since that boy moved away. She's in pain. Call it heartache.